Hello chess friends and welcome to your Out of Chess channel and welcome to a spectacular game from the TCEC Season 26 Swiss event that you can follow now on the official and beautiful TCEC website. The first thing that you see in the description below is now the link to the beautiful tournament. Check it out, download some PGNs, analyze some games, have a great preparation in some openings, in some sidelines of openings. And so far in this amazing tournament, Leela C Zero and Stockfish are in the lead. Both of them after 16 rounds have now 11 points, which is really a great thing for us. It's really now, I think, finally a rivalry in one of these tournaments, because it was simply pure domination always by Stockfish. Now Leela C Zero is also playing really powerful chess, so that's why we're starting now with this event with an amazing gameplay by Leela C Zero against another top engine, Seer, in the wild King's Indian defense. And surprisingly also, I have to say, the Ruby chess engine is on the third place, which is really something worth to mention. The Ruby chess engine was never among the top 3, top 4 engines in any of this tournament. So see, many things are changing in the computer chess world, because this top engines can be improved, they can be of course upgraded. You see, the Ruby chess crew probably that's also a great thing. So now the Ruby chess engine is, I think, really also a top engine that we should follow in the next couple of months. So let's see now this game. As I said, Leela C Zero versus Seer in the wild King's Indian defense. Leela C Zero opened here with the move d4. Seer's response was knight to f6, c4, g6, knight to c3, bishop to g7, and after move e4 we have now the King's Indian defense, the normal variation. After move d6 and knight to f3, kingside castling and bishop to e2, we have reached now the so-called orthodox variation. Pretty normal stuff. Many times we have seen these types of setups in many top engine games, but also in top grandmaster games. Now comes an interesting move that has been prearranged, we have to say it. This is not the optimal move to play here, the King's Indian from Black's perspective, but in one game I remember Fabiano Caruana won in a classical time format game, won his game with the black pieces in this particular line. The idea about this concept is to play bishop to f3, bishop takes f3, and then to lock the position to create sort of a static position where after bishop takes f3 and something like e5, white's light square bishop would be a little bit messed up, because it wouldn't be the optimal piece. It would be simply blocked out by its own pawn. Very interesting idea. I would not recommend you to do this. I would recommend you to play here this common idea with the move e5, the most aggressive line. But as I said, in this top engine tournaments, the lines are prearranged. So as I said, bishop to g4 was still the prearranged line by the organizer. We have now bishop to e3 by Leela C Zero, knight to c6 by Seer castling, and after rook to e8, Leela goes into a very interesting line also with the move d5, creating immediately space advantage here in the center of the board. The problem for black here is that knight to e5 is not so good, because after knight takes e5, bishop to e2, okay, maybe you're getting rid of this piece, but after d takes e5 here, white will simply storm with this 4 versus 3 pawn majority on the queen side. And the cool part is that, of course, the dark square bishop is supporting this attack. It will be very tough to for black to defend his position. And notice in this line, the bishop on g7 is paralyzed by its own pawn. So when it comes to bishop's activity, white's dark square bishop is much more powerful. And as I said, we have the pawn majority. I think this is an easy game for white. I'm not saying this completely winning, but it's really very easy to find the next best move. a3, b4, c5. We're just letting this pawns roll, so this is not a good continuation here for black. After move d5, we have knight to b8, and in chess history, this position has been reached in one game that I see. The game ended in a draw in sort of an international master level. Now finally Leela plays the move h3, forces now reaction by black. This is now a certain theoretical novelty in chess history. Rook to e1 and rook to c1 were the continuations here by white. But now h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, which makes, of course, the life of this light square bishop a little bit bad, because the light square bishop is blocked out by its own pawns. This dark square bishop is very good by black, and what black is hoping for is somehow to fix the structure on dark squares, playing something like a5, knight to a6 maybe, then knight to c5, knight to d7, knight to c5, a5, so locking the position on dark squares and getting use of the long diagonal of the dark square bishop. Let's see now how Leela handled this line. We'll here after move knight to d7 by Seer. Leela C Zero continued with queen to c2. Now comes this idea, a5, knight to a6 or knight to c5 then. Rook from a to d1, placing the rook where already the queen is. If something clears, of course, then the queen could be endangered. Knight to a6, bishop to g4, hitting the knight. Leela wants to get rid of this, I would say, bad bishop on g4, because it is not playing such an important role anymore. Usually you want to keep your light square bishop on the board when your opponent has light square bishop in the King's Indian. Many times in the King's Indian, black's light square bishop was many times the best minor piece, but you see in this line Seer gave it up, and now here Leela C Zero is hoping somehow maybe to get rid of one of those powerful knights. Now we have e5, which is maybe even, I think, the first strange move here by black. e5, okay, creates a static position, creates a blocked out position, which is very good for the knight, but it makes also, again, the life of the dark square bishop very hard. Look at this, the dark square bishop is blocked out now by its own pawn, and Leela C Zero is saying, okay, now you have your messed up position. I will continue here my flank attack with a3 b4, and if possible even to break and enter with the move c5. But so far Seer is controlling this this idea with both of this knights, and of course with this pawn on a5. We have knight to f6 by Seer, bishop to e2, we have h5, rook to b1. Finally Leela is preparing this move, queen to e7, and now after b4, a takes b4, a takes b4. I think this game is pretty solid here for white. White should be much better here, especially because of the possibilities to play c5 in the later stage of the game, or maybe even knight to b5, c5. So look at this. Also, this bishop is targeting now this side of the board. White has a pleasant game for sure here on this side of the board. c5, again, the blocking idea here by black. Black wants to keep, of course, the position blocked out. It doesn't want to allow here Leela C Zero to spread the wings with this beautiful bishop pair. Leela C Zero continues with d takes c6, creates an imbalanced position, because what you should not do is, of course, pass through. Seems tempting, but then after knight to b4 or maybe knight to c7, the position gets simply too blocked out. Still, probably white should be slightly better, but we want to create a sort of an asymmetrical and imbalanced position, a dynamic possible dynamic position where the bishops could, of course, be included into the game. When the position is blocked out, the bishops are not so powerful, so that's why d takes c6, the correct choice, of course, by Leela. We have b takes c6, and you see now we have still a certain mobility, c5 or b5. At least something can be moved here on this side of the board. I think we can agree that this was the way to go. So here after move rook b takes c6, we have rook from f to c1 by Leela, c5, and now Leela makes a huge decision, plays now b5, and it's a different story now. Although again the position is blocked out, but now we have another element. We have now the supported pass pawn, which makes again a really tough time here for black. Black doesn't have here good defensive ideas here. That's why Seer tried this idea. This is a powerful knight, of course, on b4, but it doesn't have support. It's only standing there, and it doesn't have any attacking chances on this side of the board. We have queen to d2, getting out of this attack, queen to e6, rook to a1, of course, competing against the rook on a8, bishop to f8. But you see, black has a tough time to include the dark square bishop into the game. There's simply no good improvement. What I think black would love to do is somehow maybe to trade the dark square bishop here against white's dark square bishop. Then maybe black could have a chance, but this is not working, of course, because of the battery here by white. Queen to d1, we have queen to d7, g4, great move here by Leela C Zero, h takes g4, bishop to g4. Here after queen to knight takes g4 and queen to g4, Leela C Zero is playing on a beautiful bad bishop strategy. Whenever your opponent's bishop is blocked out like this, look at this, it's blocked out by its own pawn, we want to trade everything off the board till we leave our opponent only with this bishop on the board. And in a potential endgame, if you could just imagine this position with only the bishops, or maybe still with the knights on the board, white is much better because of the possibility to attack these pawns, and black is always stuck to the defense of these pawns on d6, c5, and e5. This structure gives here, I think, here really a headache. So queen to e6, we have knight to d5, knight takes d5, e takes d5. any trades of pieces is favorable here for white, although the game becomes more and more simplified, but still white doesn't mind if this game reaches the fully endgame stage because of the bad bishop on f8. Again, I'm pointing out, look at this, it's still blocked out. Meanwhile, white's dark bishop is much more powerful. We have queen to f5. Again, queen takes f5. Simple idea, bad bishop strategy. G takes f5, bishop to d2, and now after move f4, rook to b1. Leela simply supports the passer on the b file that Leela created before. So now comes bishop to e7, and now comes the most brilliant part of this particular game. Leela C Zero found here an amazing tactical endgame sequence. Really wild stuff. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now. Take your time. Imagine this is one of your games. Take your time and try to see now really here the best continuation. It's really hard to see what to do actually here. Many of us, I think, would mess this up. Leela C Zero, as I said, played here the perfect endgame. So take your time. There is a certain winning idea here for white. Okay, what Leela did first here is take. Leela took here the rook on a8. After rook takes a8, Leela C Zero pushed the pawn, and in the beginning it seems so that black can hold this position by bringing the bishop into the game, but now Leela plays a brilliant move, rook to a1. You cannot, of course, here play rook takes b7 because we'll simply attack. If you even defend this, then bishop to a5 is simply winning the piece. So after rook to a1, that's why king to h7. Here Seer is getting out of this potential mess on the e8 rank, but now Leela plays rook to a8. Rook takes b7, of course, is again not possible because of rook takes d8. So that's why bishop to c7, and now rook takes b8, bishop takes b8, but the bishop is now far away from the action, and this bishop is always stuck to the defense of the potential promotion on b8, which of course makes here the game for white very easy. White can play freely with his pieces and also with the king, of course, all over the board. That's why f3, first of all, controlling here the e4 square. And the cool part is also about this setup is that white has still a passer on this side of the board. So the position is simply too stretched for the king and for the bishop. You cannot basically control both sides. So it's obviously now, I think, completely winning endgame here for white. We have king to g6. Leela, of course, includes the king into the game. Bishop to e1, not allowing the king to come closer to the pawn here on h3. We have f6. Leela gets the king closer, simply marches here towards the queen side, and now a desperate try here by Seer giving up the pawn. Leela doesn't even care, goes simply for this, goes simply closer with the king, and now, as I said, the position is simply too stretched. h4, Leela C Zero goes further, king to c6, bishop to b8, h6, king gets closer. Now Leela C Zero attacked the bishop, and now another beautiful move, king to c7, not immediately promoting here and taking the bishop. First of all, going for the d6 pawn. Now Leela C Zero goes also for this f6 pawn, pushes the pawn on d6 further. Here Seer should have probably taken this pawn, but it doesn't matter. Here Leela C Zero promoted to a new queen, and after a couple more moves the game was over. After queen to e4, checkmate. So great game, great endgame technique. I think we have seen really an interesting idea. Many of us, I think, would struggle here to find really the best continuation. This concept to move the rook from the b file and then to threaten rook to a8, really must beautiful ladder sort of by Leela C Zero. These things have to be recognized, of course, but of course the top engine's calculating this position in a good way. Interesting kings in it, because maybe you could see this kind of an idea in the beginning with bishop to g4. Many times it has been played. Fabiano Caruana had, for instance, his success in this line, but still it's a risky choice. Leela C Zero dismantled, destroyed the sideline with great positional play, but then afterwards also with great tactical play. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. We'll see now really a dynamic tournament for sure. Leela C Zero, as I said, and Stockfish are in the lead. What will happen, we don't know. now, but it's very cool to see that the top engine can compete against Stockfish, because as I said, it was simply a pure domination by the fish. Now maybe finally Leela can also make something happen in the new TCEC season. So okay, if you want to see more beautiful top engine games, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.